Welcome to Real Inside Sales Talk with Mark and Jason, episode 14.
So everybody has different reasons for getting into real estate, whether it's control of your schedule, allegedly, or financial freedom, allegedly. Everyone's been convinced at one point or another to go and get a real estate license, you'll get rich fast. Isn't that right?
That is absolutely correct, Mark. And I'm glad you pointed that out because most people I've met in real estate, it's a hobby.
Right. And, 50% of our agents locally are part-time agents. 50% of agents who get their license within the first year quit.
Right.
And really, it boils down to the top 10, 15% of brokerages that do the same repeat business over and over again.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing is people think of real estate, they think, well, I know a lot of people, or, I'm good talking to people, or I'm curious about houses, or whatever inane reasons you have other than, hey, I want to, make a lot of money and, build up my career. When you get into real estate, it's not free. You can't just go up and sell somebody's house.
No.
You've actually got to take a test, which costs you, several $100s.
Yep.
You've got to join a board, which costs, probably another $1,500, $2,000. You've got to have transportation. You've got to have, cards made up. You've got to have a website. You've got to have, headshots done. I mean, you're looking $5,000 before you even make a sale, Mark. I mean, what's the incentive that draws people? I don't get it.
Well, it's the smoke and mirrors of real estate. Yes, you can make money in it, but let's say you've done all that. You've passed the test, which is hard enough.
Right.
You've got your website set up. You've got your cards made.
Right.
Now, where are you going to get your experience if you have no experience?
Exactly. And how do you start doing that? I mean, that's just the thing. People would go into it thinking, well, I know a bunch of people, I can just call them, but not every one of them are in the mood for a house. And then secondly, just because they're friend doesn't mean they're going to buy a house from you. Sometimes friends are the absolute worst, lead prospect that you can go after.
Yeah, I mean, look on Facebook. Look how many friends the average person has nowadays.
Yeah.
Are you a Facebook friend or are you a friend?
Actual friend you've talked to in real life and could actually call up on the phone and talk about business with,
Yeah, again, Facebook friend or are you a real friend?
Right.
And,
Well, and as you get started in your real estate career, you've got your license, there are a lot of options for a new realtor out there. And most realtors think, okay, well, I'm going to go out and I'm going to sell a home, drive people around, make a lot of money. Well, it's not that way because...
Just open a door.
Just open a door, yeah. It's not that hard. It's not that easy. Because, first of all, you have to get them to sign a deal and make a good offer. You've probably, dealt with people only in a limited sense when it comes to especially buying something like a house.
Yep.
And so there are so many different variables that go into play. One, are they financing it? Are they paying cash? Have they gotten through the inspection report? How old's the house? Is it new? Is it old? 1,000 different questions you haven't even talked to them about. And then that's not even getting to the point where, how many houses have you shown them? Did you, ask enough questions that you're not going to have to run them all over town, showing them 12 different houses? So there's a lot that goes into it just before you even just get started.
Yeah, can you even find them what they want?
Right. Is it even on the market?
Yeah, like my house I bought, it wasn't even on the market. Someone walked in, said, hey, I want to build a house. How much can I sell mine for? And I looked at it, and I had already missed out on 5 houses, and I'm like, I'm going to buy it.
Right. Well, let's say you're working in a really hot market, and houses go within 24 hours of being put on the market. How are you going to handle that challenge? Because then you've missed out on opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. You got to realize, hey, I got to work fast because houses in my market, they're put on the MLS, and then 10 minutes later they're sold and under contract, and you've missed out.
Yeah, and that's a good rebuttal. Like, I've never seen your signs. I don't know who you are. It's like, well, that's because I sell everything within the first 24 hours. And they're like, oh, okay. So you have to be on your toes for rebuttaling people. So
right.
Like, people are going to check you.
Right.
They're going to Google you. So make sure your Google results are going to look good.
Right, exactly.
And then you have to think about this, too. What happens when you've sold everyone that you know, and now you need to sell more people to pay your bills, or just sell more people?
Right.
Like, I know agents that will call for 2 weeks straight and not get a deal because they blame their leads or they blame the buyers, when really it boils down to A, their effort, and B, their scripts.
Right.
They're not asking the right questions. They're not approaching their contacts or their leads, depending on what they're calling, appropriately.
Right. And just because you think you're good with people or have a big, sphere of influence, a lot of friends, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to buy from you. I mean, a lot of them may already know a realtor, or may have already bought. They're not interested. How are you going to nurture those? Do you know how to nurture? Do you know how to follow up? How do you know how to deal with customers in the first place?
Also, how do you know how to deal with other real estate agents?
Right.
Is this just one real estate agent that is known to be intimidating and bullshit everybody? Or is this a realtor that just wants to stick a sign in your yard and list your house to make an easy commission?
Right.
You know, is this a realtor that actually is busting their ass? They're spending $10,000 a month on marketing and advertising, and they really want to earn your business and get good reviews so they can get more business.
Right.
You know, I talked to a guy today. You know, he was on the market for a year, and he's like, the agent was great, the communication was great. It's just that we didn't want to lower our price.
Right.
And so it's okay that the house didn't sell, but the agent still did a good job. And when I'm really serious about selling, I'm going to go back to that agent.
Right, exactly. And that's just the thing. When you get started in real estate and you're dealing with a lot of different people, a lot of different demands on your time, people that aren't sure what their time frame is, what they're about ready to do. And that's why as you start out in real estate and you exhaust that circle of family and friends, you've actually got to go out there and meet people and find out who's interested in actually buying a home or a piece of property or being an investor or something. You know, so that's where you've got to find what's the best real estate job for you, because there's more to real estate than just being, you know, a real estate agent that shows houses. You can be an inbound sales agent, outbound sales agent. You can be a listing coordinator. You can be a transaction coordinator. Having that license helps you do certain things.
Yeah, you've got wholesaling real estate, you have investing real estate, you have commercial real estate, industrial real estate. Again, like you said, lots and land real estate,
Property management.
property and luxury management.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it boils down to who do you know and how many deals can you throw down in a certain amount of time to be successful.
Right.
And you know what you're going to find out is you're eventually you're going to run low on contacts. So you're going to have to find out what services you're going to have to start paying for to get more people to call you and do business.
Right. Where are you going to have to advertise? Because you got to have a web presence, you got to have a social media presence, you got to have a business card presence, you got to go out there and pound the pavement.
You got a blog.
You got to do all kinds of different things to get
Yeah.
business out there. Whatever your lead generation strategy is, you've got to figure out one. Because I mean, I remember meeting people in real estate school, and I could count, you know, I mean, 80% of them weren't going to make it.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it walking in the door.
Yeah, exactly. You could just tell, okay, they're going to get into it and realize it's hard. People don't just call you up and say, hey, I want to buy this house over here for $250,000.
Well, this guy's a freaking realtor.
Yeah. And they don't know the first thing about the neighborhood. They don't know the first thing about housing,
What's
construction, the
FHA?
market. Yeah, the
What's
market or
USDA?
anything. Yeah, and I mean, you can imagine, you know, you're in Phoenix or San Francisco, and somebody calls you up and wants to see a house, and you start, you know, rattling through a bunch of crap that doesn't matter. The house is sold, man. The house is gone. You know, and that's where, you know, being good at your scripts, being good at your objections, asking great questions, gets you to be able to qualify those people much quicker.
Yeah, and also, you know, if you're going to be a real estate agent, do research on the brokerages. Call, you know, they're not interviewing you, you're interviewing them. You know, does your brokerage offer leads? What is the commission splits? What is the commission splits after I hit X amount of sales?
Right.
You know, why does it benefit me to work for your brokerage rather than someone else?
Which is a great segue, because that's the next thing you want to decide when you become a real estate agent is, do you want to join a team? You know,
Yes.
I can find, there's pros and cons to
There's
it.
pros and cons to every part of real estate.
I think on the one hand, joining a team is a good thing, because you can have kind of somebody over your shoulder, kind of helping you through the deals, you know, helping you negotiate the contracts, helping you write the contracts, helping you make sure legally you're covered. I mean, I would really recommend anybody, you know, spend 6 to 8 months, a year preferably, you know, on a team out there. Even though your split's a little lower, you're probably going to get at least a bucket full of leads each month. You're going to get a little bit of support.
You're going to get the experience.
You're going to get the experience. That's it, Mark.
Yeah,
Exactly
you can get
right.
5 years of experience in 1 year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know because I've gotten 20 years of experience in 3 years.
Well, you're exactly right, and that's what a team does. A team allows you to be able to be comfortable failing. A team allows you to be comfortable growing into your niche as a realtor, because do you want to work land? Do you want to work new construction? Do you want to work, you know, homes that, you know, need that homes for flippers? Do you want to look for industrial property? Do you want to look for commercial property? Do you want to look for stuff for investors? Do you want to be connected with, you know, new construction housing? Because depending on the market that you're in, it's going to kind of dictate what area.
Absolutely. And, you know, let's say you pick a market. Then you have to realize, okay, how do I sell this?
Right.
Like, for example, I set up a listing appointment the other day, because what I do is I call people and I set appointments to go and list property and talk about selling it, the
Right.
property. Okay.
Right.
So what I do is I call them. They're like, "Hey, I want to sell this," and I'm like, "Okay, so if we can get you what you want, are you open to listing?"
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
If they're not, then clearly they're probably not the best, appointment at that time.
Right. And put them up for nurture.
So anyway, I sent a listing agent out on a property with $6.9 million. He goes, "It's worth every penny. It's been on the market for 3 years. I've got the listing, like it's all ready to go.
Right.
But I have no idea how to market this differently."
Right.
So you have to be able to back up what you say too, because your reputation is on the line.
Well, exactly. And there's a lot of, that's the one downside of real estate when you get onto a team. A lot of teams will just buy these turnkey approaches to lead generation, these turnkey approaches to, cold calling. And there's a lot of faults involved with them because a lot of times they're not really geared for the internet. There's no SEO, behind it. You got to change it a little bit. There's a lot of spam content that comes out of it. It generates sometimes a lot of cold leads. So be aware of the risk when you get onto a team.
Yeah, and there's brokerages that get sold by CRM companies or lead generation companies. If your agents call this many leads, they're going to set this many appointments. You're going to make a shitload of money, and you're going to be a millionaire ASAP.
Right.
That's not the truth.
No,
it's
no.
not. And it doesn't matter if you're paying for Zillow leads or CRM leads or any other type of leads. There's always going to be trash leads. There's always going to be nurtures. There's always going to be good leads. But it's few far and in between.
Oh, yeah.
And it really is. And until you get to the point where you build up a clientele and or have talked to enough people, it's just going to be like, I don't know where my next deal is going to come from until then. Right.
And I recommend people out there that are building teams and stuff like that be careful of the automated approach. Be careful of the off-the-shelf turnkey approach to, your customer management, because there's a lot of things out there you can do for yourself. Just put in a little bit of time. It's easy to create a website. It's easy to create a podcast. It's easy to create a video nowadays. It's easy to go Facebook Live, Instagram Live, Snapchat. There's an incredible amount of tools out there. Real estate companies offer already custom edited software that you can drop in, showings for video tours of whatever listings that you have out there. So there's a lot of tools, but you just got to be aware of the tools that you have, because a lot of them throw a lot of different features in there, and sometimes those features might, do more harm than they do good. So the other thing that I want to talk about risk of being on a team is sometimes there gets to be a little bit of jealousy on teams. You got to be aware of this, because sometimes people might start griping over leads, who gets what lead. How come, Johnny over there gets all the good leads, Sally over here, gets all the crap leads.
Because he's friends with the ISA.
Yeah, he's friends with the
He buys his telemarketer lunch.
That's right. Be nice to the telemarketer.
Be nice to the telemarketer. I mean, yeah, you might be in a rotation, but oops, things happen.
That's right. So what you want to do what you want to be able to do is be aware of these pitfalls and risks that happen, because sometimes, and you may be starting out, it may all be fair, but you may be, number 1 out of 4 on the lead cycle, and you're getting nothing but, crap leads. Eventually that dam's going to break. It's going to break. So don't get discouraged initially.
Yeah, don't get mad at your ISA either. Like he or she is doing their job. They're sending you pre-qualified leads, and you're expected to follow up on them. And
right.
If they pan out, great. If not, well, just keep grinding and pretend I wasn't there to begin with.
Exactly.
I'm like your bonus.
Right.
Like whenever I send you a lead, or an ISA, OSA sends you a lead, look at it as something I didn't plan on happening.
Exactly. Folks, we want to take a pause here and thank our sponsors. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Are you struggling to close deals? Do you want to become a more effective negotiator? Are your goals to increase your sales? Well, for as little as $5 a month, you can accomplish this by becoming a subscriber to Real Inside Sales Talk. Get access to our secret Facebook group where you can talk with Mark and Jason and other salespeople who are also working to achieve their goals and dreams. And not just access to the secret Facebook group. You get access to our weekly newsletters, special bonus live content, and most importantly, a one-on-one coaching call with Mark and Jason. $5 a month gets you a half-hour call, $10 a month gets you a 1-hour call, and $25 a month gets you a 1-hour coaching call each quarter. So get an advantage over the competition today and get some coaching. Go to realinsidesalestalk.com/subscribe and sign up today. So getting back to Real Inside Sales Talk with Mark and Jason, episode 14, folks. We're talking about real estate. This is our special episode for all the realtors out there, no matter where you are, big market, small market, medium market. New agent, experienced agent, grizzled agent, veteran agent, agent with a 1,000-yard stare. We're talking to you people. Day-to-day operations. Mark, I want to tell you just from my experience, one of the things about real estate that I really enjoyed, and I have to say this is the positive thing about it,
Oh, great.
is you do meet a wide variety of people from various unique circumstances. And the more you can learn from them, that's the advice I give them, the more you can learn from them, the better off you're going to be as a person, because you're just going to be, if you look at it as a learning experience and not a negative experience, you're going to be better off as a salesperson. You're going to sell more houses.
Well, yeah, Jason, that makes sense. You know, the more people you talk to, the more you're going to be able to rebuttal. You know, you're going to experience more. You're going to be able to encounter situations. You know, if someone says this and then, 2 months later, someone else says the exact same thing, you're going to know how to handle that situation.
Right. It's just going to be a reflex. You're going to be able to just respond to them immediately.
Yeah. You know, when you don't have to think about it, you've been through it, you're experienced. And,
Right.
Again, experience is where, people want to list with an agent.
Well, for example, if you're a buyer agent and you represent exclusively buyers out there, you're going to get pretty used to seeing houses. You're going to know the basic house setup. You're going to know the basic floor plan. Going in, you're going to know the difference between, and you should, if you don't, start, knowing the difference between different types of flooring, different types of wall, different stucco and brick. Please know the difference out there.
Real tile, fake tile?
Real tile, fake tile.
Granite, not granite?
Yeah, an asphalt shingle roof versus a shake roof. A metal roof versus, a Spanish tile roof. You've got to know some basic things out there, but once you start showing homes and seeing more homes, the quicker you're going to get about knowing exactly, okay, here's the floor plan, here's where the hot water heater typically is. Some areas, houses are built in specific ways. Like you go to the Southwest, there's no air conditioners down there. There's not a lot of HVAC. It's all swamp coolers. And whatever space heaters or something like that, or maybe just fire pits, because it doesn't really get cold unless at night down there. So you've also got to understand the different, needs of particular houses at times and different styles of houses. It's going to make you a better showing agent. It's going to make you a better buyer's agent.
Yeah, and again, you're going to say the same stuff on the same presentation every time, so eventually it's just going to come natural.
Right, which is why you want to have, let's say, take the first one off the top of the head is, first topic is like if you're a buyer's agent and you want to set the buyer's appointment, there's certainly going to be a script that you're going to talk to about those buyers, and those buyers are all going to have the same questions. Those buyers are going to want to know if the house is safe, sound, and sturdy. And then they're going to look
or
at
if someone died in it.
Or if someone died in it. You're going to get the weird things like that. So you're going to want to go through this list of things with your buyers, a script with your buyers. It's the same way with a listing appointment. A listing appointment, you've got the same sort of objections, you got the same sort of motivations, and it's the same thing when you're setting the appointment. If you're out there setting the appointment, you're first one to get across, you want to get your foot in the door. So you got to trust with them, you got to know exactly what their motivation is to either sell or to buy, so that way you can set the appointment for that agent.
Yeah, what are their wants, interests, and needs? What is their time frame, motivation? If you had a magic wand and the world worked exactly the way you want to, credit
Right.
Adam Bailey, what would happen if you sold the house now, and where would you go, and what's your time frame?
Right. And you've got to know then if they're qualified, if they're not qualified, if there's just, they're driving around looking at houses or something like that and call you. Because that's the thing about being a real estate agent. You're like basically on call 24/7, unless you make it explicitly known, hey, I'm not available during these times. Count on getting called at 9 o'clock in the morning when you're on the way to the lake.
I got a call at 6:50 in the morning 2 days ago on a Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wasn't thinking about it. I just wake up and go, it's 6:50 in the morning. Call me back later. Now. I called them back. They're like, hey, I called about the sign. I'm like,
Right.
I'm sorry, I was asleep.
I was asleep, man. Yeah, I couldn't help you. And that's just it. As a real estate agent, your hours are always going, especially warm months, especially hot markets. If you're in a hot market, you don't have any downtime. You're out there selling. You're making big commissions. You've got to, because houses turn over so rapidly and so quickly out
Yeah,
there.
we're talking thousands of dollars in a short amount of time.
Right. And if you don't act, at that time, or if you don't know your buyer and what your buyer's motivation is, some buyers have a longer time frame, some buyers have a shorter time frame. And as a new real estate agent, you've got to understand that fact, because if you're going into it as a buyer's agent, just count on knowing that you're 90 days from your first sale. At a minimum, unless you've got, your dad or mom or whatever is ready to buy a house today, you're still 90 days away from your first check.
Yeah, you just get your license. I'm going to let you throw a sign in the yard, go through the ropes,
Right.
and hopefully not screw the pooch.
And folks, please be a better real estate agent out there. If you're on the listing side, please just don't put a sign in the yard, throw them up on the MLS, and then kick back and wait for the money to roll in. You've got to actively promote and market and sell your clients' houses. You've got to actively do that each day.
And the most important thing is you need to be able to price your customer's house. I would say 95% of the expireds that I call is
Right.
they're not priced correctly.
Really? That's the
Yeah,
biggest
the
mistake you
agent's like,
see.
oh, throw it on the market for this much. If it doesn't sell, we're just going to do like a price reduction for like this much.
They'll say, oh, it's a hot market, but it actually crashed 6 months ago and prices are just falling. And
Well, one, it boils down to the lead. Are you fishing the market for a profit?
right.
Are you trying to sell your house for a profit, or do you really need to sell your house?
Right.
That's where you focus on your motivation from the seller.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
it's like, well, look, okay, here's the reason. You might hate me for telling you this, but you're going to appreciate the honesty at the end of the day. But your agent overpriced your house by about $22,000.
Right. Or the other pain you've got to lead your seller through is they overbought, 5 years ago. And the house is not even worth 50% of what they sold it or paid for it.
Or you heard that radio ad that said, buy solar panels and put them on your house.
Right.
So I work with appraisers, and solar panels are not appraising out.
Right.
Like, I know a guy that put $20,000 worth of solar panels on his house, and it barely raised.
I can't believe they'd go through the appraisal approach to try to sell solar panels. The whole point is the energy efficiency of it all. It's not going to give your house more
they don't
value.
look that good.
And that's the thing. It's not going to give your house more value. It might actually, get people intrigued. Oh, I don't have to pay much of an electric bill. But it's an appraiser is not going to give a
Over
damn.
20 years after you spent thousands of dollars on it.
Appraisers do not care if there's solar panels on the house or not.
Very few, very few houses are also comparable.
Right, that's the whole thing.
That's another thing. It's like, and they understand that you spent this much on the house, but there's no comps to explain it, and that's why it's so easy to talk with customers about comparables.
It's like trying to compare a house that has, brick siding versus stucco siding. They both look good and they might be the same square footage and everything. There's not going to be much difference in price. That's the same way with solar. Solar is not going to give you that benefit appraisal-wise. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great investment because your electric bills are going to be, next to nothing. But it's not going to add. You're not going to get it paid for. What's going to pay it for you on solar panels is the return that you don't have to pay for electricity.
Yeah.
So that creates kind of an artificial price for it. An area like, the Midwest isn't really big on solar and they're trying to force it down people's nose. And that's the unfortunate thing is that they were saying, oh yeah, it'll make your appraisals go up. Well, that's not true,
There's
man.
misleading
It's
ads,
that's
like,
just
yeah.
not true. Well, you've got to take the time to learn.
You do, and you have to talk to people who know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could be that guy that just got a real estate license to, telemarket people, and
Right.
you don't know anything about anything.
Right.
Or you could be someone that's really good at filling out contracts, but you don't know anything about telemarketing or anything about lead generation or anything about this or that.
Well, or trying to set a listing appointment at, a $500,000, $1 million house, but not realizing right across from that house is, a train track and a rail yard.
Yeah.
You don't. That's just the thing is you've got to understand your market. You've got to understand your area. You've got to understand where, what houses are where. Know how your city is laid out. Know where the luxury buildings are versus your lower end. Know where your middle class is versus your up and coming. Know where the apartment section. Know where the industrial portion is. So that way, somebody isn't going to. You're not trying to sell somebody a $300,000 house right across from an industrial park.
Or you're not
Or
gonna
trying
put-
to sell the seller.
Or you're not going to put, if you don't want to put some, you don't want to sacrifice a sale for price either.
Right,
Because
right.
people are like, oh, I looked at this house and it looks good. It's like, well, I'll be up front with you.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to sell you this house for X amount of dollars, but because I have a soul, I'm going to tell you that there's a lot of crime, a lot of drugs,
Right.
terrible schools.
It's not a good
You know,
area.
I
man.
know you can afford this house, and I know this is what you're looking at, but I wouldn't want you there for
Right.
at all.
This house is not for you. Look, the area is not.
You mentioned you have kids.
Right.
The schools are terrible. And I'm only telling you this because I'm experienced.
Right.
And I'm looking out for your best
Well,
interest.
let me tell you, this your priorities. You're getting ready to have some kids. You're getting ready to
Yeah.
raise them. You want a good school district. Let me tell you what. Here's the areas with great school districts. Here are some areas that you kind of want to stay away from because they're just not kid friendly.
Yeah.
So you've got to know how to approach it, and that's what takes experience. That's why it's good being on a team for a short term, is because then you can learn some ins and outs. You can have different people, realtors that are experienced that can give you an advice. If you're on a team that has an ISA that sets appointments, you can talk to that ISA. Make those appointments more qualified. Make those appointments more fulfilling for each of you.
Yeah, get the experience without actually doing it yourself. For example, if a buyer's agent comes downstairs or a listing agent comes downstairs and they're like, how do you do this or that? I'm going to say I'm going to do this, 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 and this.
Right.
And even though they don't know what I'm talking about most of the time,
Right.
they have a general idea.
Right. So when you're just getting started out in real estate, one, really ask yourself the questions of exactly why you want to get into it. You know, what's motivating you to take this as a career path?
Can you afford it?
Can you afford it? First thing,
Can-
right.
Yeah, have 2 years of savings set
Right.
aside.
Because it's not an immediate payday.
And you're going to have to invest thousands of dollars up front, even though you don't plan on it or you don't want to, or you're stubborn and you found a way that it's going to work and whatever, you're still going to, you're going to spend thousands of dollars every month.
Exactly. And it's going to take you a while to build
You
up.
got real
a-
estate insurance too. What
Right.
happens if you fuck up?
Oh yeah, well that's just it. There's a lot of expenses going forward. There's a lot of the considerations that
MLS
people,
fees.
MLS fees. You've also,
Signs.
and that's not to mention just the day-to-day stuff, because you got to be able to know people and get comfortable with people and be able to find and match people to their objectives and to what their expectations are. And if you're not able to do that, real estate probably isn't the career for you. And that's what you've got to sit down and decide and go through these things so you know exactly what you're getting into. Because real estate, you can be successful at it. And especially, you spend a couple of years, you're going to have a database lined up, you're going to have repeat clients and everything like that. But there's a lot more to it than just showing somebody a house. You've got to know your market. You've got to know the trends that are happening in your area. You've got to be able to talk to lenders and financing and know what financial rates are. You've got to be aware of people being even able to buy the particular house. And then you've got to understand the time frame. Some people are going to be immediate A buyers buying now. Some are going to be 60 days out. Some are going to be a year out. And to be able to have a great database that you could manage these people with. And so that's the advantage of listening to Real Inside Sales Talk with Mark and Jason. We give you all kinds of wonderful ideas like this out there. So if you're thinking of being a new realtor, thinking of getting your license,
Don't flip out over minor details. Because if you flip out, your client's going to flip out. If you make it like no big deal, they're going to make it no big deal.
right, exactly. You've got to know going in. There's a lot of, that's the thing is going into real estate, you're dealing with homes here. Some homes are brand new. Some homes are 20 years old. Some clients you talk to have never bought a home. Some have bought 3 or 4 homes. Some clients are going to be standoffish. Some clients are going to be, you're going to get along with immediately. Find some areas that lead generate that work for you, 2 or 3 at the most. Focus on those. Once you're able to do that, start lead generating, getting some clients. Join a team out there. I'd highly recommend that. Team Real Estate is a great team. If you're in the Springfield, Kansas City area, give them a call at 417-319-1000. But good luck on your career out there. This has been Real Inside Sales Talk with Mark and Jason.
You all have a good night, and thank you for tuning in to Real Inside Sales Talk with Mark and Jason. Find us online at facebook.com/ISA Talk. Find us online at www.realinsidesalestalk.com. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube. Find us at realinsidesalestalk.com.